Listen.
If you do not understand white supremacy, what it is, and how it works, everything else that you understand will only confuse you. Now sometimes people say, well, you mean everything that I understand will confuse me if I don't understand racism? Yes, because racism is the dominant political and religious motivating force among the people of the planet in all 9 areas of activity: economics, education, entertainment, labor, law, politics, religion, sex, and war. That covers just about everything that any person, minute by minute, might be doing or engaged in any time of day or night, anywhere on the planet. The system of white supremacy, according to all evidence, is a complete system, meaning that it is a world prison. A world prison, and who are the prisoners? The prisoners is everybody on the planet who is classified as and functions as, quote, unquote, non-white. Black, brown, red, yellow, tan, beige, anybody who has color in his or her skin. That's the criteria. That's the basic criteria for racism. Now, everybody who is classified as non-white is in the prison of white supremacy. And if you can put in your mind a prison, if you are an inmate of a prison, you are automatically serving the prison system. If you are a prisoner in a prison system, you are automatically, regardless of whether you want to be there or not, you are serving the purposes of the prison system if you are a prisoner in the prison system. Kindergarten. That's the way it works. It's no way to be a prisoner in a prison system without serving the prison system. So this thing of trying to find out which black person is a bigger prisoner than the other black person is folly. It's folly because it's not logical. Everything in counter-racist science, like everything in racist science, is based on logic, because logic is the only thing that's going to be successful. So that's why I'm saying it's useless to talk about which prisoner is rendering more service to the prison system. Some prisoners, just like on the slave ship, some people who were on the slave ship were taken up on deck. The sailors, the prison masters, the ship masters would come down the ladder and say, you, and you, I'm going to take the chains off of you right now, and you're going up on deck. And so you go up on deck. Now, you can refuse to go and get beaten and beaten until you finally do go, or until they just get tired of beating you because you are unconscious now and useless, so they get somebody else. But somebody's going. Why? Because you can do that when you are the master of a ship and you have cargo on the ship, slaves that have no place to go, wouldn't know how to go if they could get off the ship, and even if they took over the ship, wouldn't know how to run it. So what do? Just like all black people do, just like I do every day. Do what the slave master tells me to do. That goes you to show the awesome power of the system of white supremacy. Sometimes some of us, by looking at the other slaves on the ship, get the idea that we're not on the slave ship too, and that we're slaves, equal slaves. Now, sometimes we get the impression that we're not, because I still give that slave ship analogy, making it the prison analogy, because it's the same thing. Prison, slaves, slaves, prison, same thing. All right. So one slave says to the other, you know, you got the incorrect attitude. We're both slaves, but you don't have any dignity. And other slaves says, yeah, you say that I'm silly. Say, yeah, you're silly and I'm dignified. So that raises a question based on logic. What is the difference between a dignified slave and a silly one? And the answer is, one is dignified and one is silly. And that's the only difference. Now, some people have said they've seen some cartoons of my work on the internet that have been presented, and that it pretty well embellishes what I have been trying to say in my textbooks. And to the extent that it does that, well, that has been, from what I understand, some people reported to me, a plus. Because they didn't understand what I had written very well, but when they saw those cartoons that just repeated what I was saying and attaching my name to it, and came right out of the book, the material did, they say that they better understood it. And I can understand that, because people are kind of visual, particularly in the year 2021 now, more visual than ever.